Have you ever imagined a universe where Tarzan, the famous king of the jungle, was the long-lost brother of Elsa and Anna, the princesses of Arendelle from Frozen? Yes, it may sound like an absurd idea, but this theory has won over many Disney fans over the years. The idea that the shipwreck of Elsa and Anna's parents didn't result in their death but rather a new adventure in the African jungles seems fascinating. However, the truth is that, despite all the creativity involved, this theory simply doesn't make sense. And today, we're going to dive deep into all the flaws of this story. It all started with a casual comment from Chris Buck, the director of Frozen 2013 and Tarzan 1999. During an interview, Buck joked that, in his mind, Elsa and Anna's parents could have survived the shipwreck shown at the beginning of Frozen. According to him, the parents ended up on a tropical island, built a treehouse, and even had a third child, who, of course, would be Tarzan. Although this statement was clearly a joke, Disney fans quickly embraced the idea and started making their own connections. The theory began to circulate online, gaining popularity quickly. If the director himself was suggesting this, who could doubt it? For many, it was yet another example of how Disney loves to interconnect its stories, and this seemed like the perfect opportunity to link two iconic adventures. Fans soon found evidence to support this theory. The first argument is the physical resemblance between Elsa and Anna's parents and Tarzan's parents. In both movies, the parents are blonde, have an air of nobility, and dress in elegant clothing, which, for some, was enough to start thinking they could be the same characters. Besides, Disney is known for including Easter eggs and small references between its films. A famous example is Rapunzel and Flynn's appearance at Elsa's coronation in Frozen, which suggested that Tangled and Frozen could exist in the same universe. If this connection between the two films was possible, why not expand the idea to include Tarzan? For many, this seemed like a natural path. Another point that made this theory gain traction was the fact that, in the first Frozen, the fate of Elsa and Anna's parents is left somewhat open. The shipwreck is mentioned, but their deaths are never directly shown. For more enthusiastic fans, this left room to imagine that they could have survived somehow and lived a completely different adventure, culminating in Tarzan's birth. Although it's a fun theory, it simply doesn't hold up when we analyze the facts. First, let's talk geography. The kingdom of Arendelle, where Elsa and Anna live, is clearly inspired by Scandinavia, a cold, mountainous region in northern Europe. Tarzan's story, on the other hand, takes place in a tropical jungle, most likely in Africa. The distance between these two regions is huge, and the idea that Elsa and Anna's parents could have survived a shipwreck in the Arctic and somehow ended up on a tropical island is incredibly unlikely. The journey would be far too long and extremely dangerous for a couple that had already survived a shipwreck. Next, we have the problem of chronology. Frozen seems to be set in the early 19th century, while Tarzan is clearly situated in the Victorian era, which occurs later in the century. In other words, even if Elsa and Anna's parents had survived and made it to the African jungle, the timeline simply doesn't match. The differences in historical periods are significant, making this connection unworkable, but the final blow to the theory comes from Frozen 2. In the second film, we discover that Elsa and Anna's parents were on a mission to understand Elsa's powers, and the shipwreck occurred as a result of a storm while they were sailing toward Ahtohallan, a mythical source of answers about their daughter's magic. The film makes it very clear that they actually died in this accident, completely ruling out any possibility that they survived and ended up in a tropical jungle. Lastly, it's worth remembering that Chris Buck, the director who started this whole conversation, made it clear that his comment was just a joke. Disney never officially confirmed this theory, and all Buck did was fuel fans' imaginations without any intention of truly connecting the stories. It was a fun tease, but nothing more. Even with all the holes and inconsistencies, this theory is still beloved by many Disney fans. But why? Part of it is due to the creativity involved. Fan theories are a fun way to expand fictional universes and create unexpected connections. They allow fans to keep exploring stories and characters they love, even when the official narrative has come to an end. In the case of Frozen and Tarzan, the idea that these two worlds could be intertwined adds an extra layer of intrigue and fascination. Another important factor is the central theme of family present in both films. In Frozen, the story revolves around the sisters Elsa and Anna and the strength of family bonds, while Tarzan deals with the survival of a baby who loses his parents and is raised by gorillas. For many, the idea that Elsa and Anna's parents not only survived but also started a new life in the jungle, raising Tarzan, is a natural extension of these stories of resilience and family. Moreover, Disney is famous for including Easter eggs and cross-references between its films. Disney fans love looking for these hidden connections, and when they find something that seems to fit, even if only superficially, they embrace the idea enthusiastically. Even though the theory that Tarzan is Elsa and Anna's brother doesn't make sense within the official plot, it still offers an opportunity for fans to imagine a world where all these characters are interconnected. In the end, as fun and creative as it is, the theory that Tarzan is Elsa and Anna's lost brother doesn't hold up when we examine the facts. Geographically, the two stories take place in completely different locations, a cold kingdom in northern Europe and a tropical jungle in Africa. Chronologically, the films don't align either, with Frozen occurring in the early 19th century and Tarzan in the Victorian era, several decades later. Additionally, Frozen 2 confirms that Elsa and Anna's parents really did die on a journey to discover more about their daughter's powers, eliminating any chance they survived and had another child. And, of course, Chris Buck himself, who started this joke, made it clear that it was just that, a joke. None of this connection was ever officially confirmed by Disney. Even so, the theory persists because it sparks fans' imaginations. These improbable connections are a way to keep the Disney universe alive and continue exploring new meanings for the characters and stories we love so much. In the end, perhaps the success of this theory isn't in the truth it holds, but in how much it makes us dream of new possibilities. And what about you? What do you think? Is this one of the craziest theories fans have ever come up with? Or do you still see some potential in the idea? Leave your comment and let's keep the discussion going.